graders, doing a video this morning. I've got garden with my class today, so I'm not quite sure how this will work out. We'll see. But anyways, I'm going to do a video. I do want you guys to do the review what you know page. That's on page 42, and then a couple pages later we have 45 here. So it says 3 pieces of software cost $20, $75, $10, $15, $9, and $18, $25. What's the total cost of the software? And then it says use mental math to solve. So we do mental math almost every morning here. And so one of the things I do, and maybe some of you do the same thing, is I look for numbers that are compatible. And they're going to talk about that here shortly. Compatible numbers are numbers that are easy to add together. And so I see a 75 here and I see a 25 here. Well, what's that? That's $1. Okay. So those are taken care of. I know I'm going to add $1 in here. The 59, I can save that to the very end. But 25 and 75 cents and 25 cents, that's going to be $1. Then we have a 20 and a 10. What's that? That's 30. Well, that's easy to add together. And so 30 plus 18, here's an 18. Well, 30 plus 18, there's a 10, this is a 10, so that's 40. And what's 40 plus 8? That's $48. You see how I'm breaking this down? So we have $48, okay? And what do we have here? 59 cents. $48.59. Plus $1. Remember that 25 and the 75? So the answer would be $49.59. I didn't write anything down other than little reminders here. So I just did that in my head using compatible numbers. And so some of you, I think, probably intuitively know that. That means you do it really without thinking. And others may have to start that particular habit. So down here it says which two numbers above were easy to add in your head. Well, I would say 75 and 25 were easy to add in our head. Why? Why was that easy? Well, it's I don't know, much like adding what? Quarters. Okay. All right, let's turn the page here. This is informative. They're talking about the associative property, and that lets you change the grouping of add-ins. So here we have 1145 plus 339 plus 955. And then they changed the parentheses and they put it around the 339 and the 955. So that's the associative property when you can change the grouping, okay, of add-ins, or the grouping of numbers that we're adding together. Add-ins is kind of the fancy word for that. Now, commutative property lets you add 2 decimals in any order. So here we have 1145 plus 339. And then we just change the order, 339 plus 1145. That's the commutative property, all right? These are going to come into play later on in this lesson. And you're going to run across these a lot, especially when it comes to junior high, 7th and 8th grade. So then it says use the commutative property to change the order. Okay, so that's done. Use the associative property to change the grouping. That's done. It's just giving you an example of what we're talking about here. See here it says add 1145 and 955 first because they are easy to compute mentally. Well, 11 and 9, that's easy, right? What's that? That's 20. And then 45 and 55. Well, you could, I'm not sure how they do it here. I can just tell you what I do in my head. If I was to add 45 and 55, I would add the 5 first to the 55, and 55 would become 60. And what do I have to add still? The 40, and the 40 and the 60 is 1. So that would be $21, which is what they have here. That's how I did it. And how you guys do it may be different, and that's okay. It's okay as long as you get the right answer. All right. And again, it says compatible numbers are numbers that are easy to compute mentally. Let's see here, down at the bottom, it says, convince me, reason, and use mental math to find the sum, explain your thinking. So everybody's going to do this differently, so I'm not going to do this one with you guys. But I do see a couple numbers that would be easy to add together. And then, here, I'll do a different color here. I see another number, two numbers that would be easy to add together. All right. So just explain how you do it. How much did he earn it all? So just do that without having to write much down. All right. Okay, another example, compensation. And this is just a variation of something you might do in mental math. I do this sometimes. It says with compensation, adjust one or both numbers to make the calculation easier, then adjust the difference or sum to get the final answer. So look at this example here. It says find 425 minus 8 cents mentally. Well, what they did is they just changed the 8 to 10, and it's easier to subtract 10 cents from 25 cents because it's 425. What's that going to be? It's going to be 415. Well, that was easy. But remember, we added 2. We made it a little bit larger. We added 2 cents to it. And then it says it right here, 2 cents was too much. So we'll subtract that. And so we end up with, instead of 415, it's going to be 417. So we added that in, and we got to subtract it back. All right. So 425 minus 8 cents is 417. All right. So is just the opposite. It says find 347 plus 435 mentally. So in here they added 3 cents, made it 450. And so then they were able to easily add these. 50 cents and 35 cents is 85. 3 and 4 is 7, 785. But remember, we added in 3 cents, so we got to take 3 cents. Well, it's easy to subtract 3 cents from 85 cents. That's 82 cents. And so it's 782. All right. That's what they're doing there. And again, some of you may do that in some of these problems. Use compensation. Okay, so let's look at this lesson. It's pretty short here. Show how to use compensation to add 318 and 650. Well, I'm going to add 2 cents right here. I'm just going to make this 320. And now I'm going to add 650 to that. Well, that's easy to do. What's 20 plus 50? That's 70. And 3 and 6 is what? 9. So it's 970. And what did I do? I added in 2 cents, right? So I need to subtract 2 cents. So it's going to be 968. Okay? It says use properties to rewrite the expression to be easier to solve, and then explain. Properties. Well, so what are we talking about? We're talking about the associative property or the commutative property. And the associative property, you can change the grouping symbols. And so I look at this one here, and I see that we have grouping symbols. That's what these are, these parentheses. These are grouping symbols. So let's see here. I think I would do 13 plus 7.4 plus 463 equals, because this 13 and the 7 are easy to add, that's 20. All right. It says explain. Well, just put that in words. The 13 and the 7 are easier to add. Those are compatible numbers. And that's what you're doing when you're changing the grouping symbols. To make it easier, you're grouping compatible numbers together. All right, use mental math to add or subtract. All right, see if you guys can do those on your own. So I'm going to do one of these because some of you actually struggled doing these kinds of problems the other day. Remember, when you're adding decimals, you just line up the decimals. 18, 25, this is number 9 I'm doing here. And 799 and 475. Okay. Now, oh, my bad. It does say to use mental math for these problems. Well, okay, so go ahead and use mental math for these problems. But just remember, when you're adding decimals, line up decimals. All right? But in these, I mean, I see some compatible numbers. Here's a 75 and here's a 25. So that should make it a little bit easier. Okay, next page. Okay, Joanne bought 3 books that cost this much, $3.95, $4.99, and $6.05. How much did she spend in all? Use compensation and mental math to find the sum. Well, go ahead and do that. And I'll probably pull sticks and see how you guys did each one of these on your own. 14, construct arguments. Use compensation to find the difference mentally. Explain how you found each difference. Okay? So, again, remember, compensation is you're adding or subtracting a little bit to make the numbers more compatible. Well, I mean, so what could we do with A here? If I added, this looks like we'll say it's $67.90. If I added 10 cents, I'm going to add, I'll put 0.10. That would become what? 68. Subtracting. Now I'm going to add 10 cents to this one also. This is $29.90. If I added 10 cents, it'd be 30. Right? So if I added 10 cents to that one also, I'm going to put a plus 0.10. Okay? 68 subtracting 30, what's that going to be? It's going to be 38. All right? But are we done? No. Because remember, we added 10 each, so now we're going to subtract 10. So what's $38, if we're talking about dollars here, $38 subtracting 20 cents. That's going to equal $37.80. Okay, see how I did that? You guys do the next one on your own. Now, when you use compensation, I mean, in this one it was easy. I used both of them, but you may only use one number, like 198. If you add 2 to it, that goes up to 200. And maybe you'd leave this one the same. All right. 15. Table shows how many points Eduardo scored during each game. Use mental math to find how many points he scored in the first 3 games. So again, use mental math, and I'll probably pull sticks occasionally to see how you guys are doing these. On 3 different days at her job, Sue earned $27, $33, and $49. She needs to earn $100 to buy a desk for her computer. If she buys the desk, how much money will she have left over? Okay, well, so you got to add those up. You could probably add them up mentally and see how much she would have left over, assuming that she has over $100 there. Okay. 17, a shelf can hold 50 DVDs. Jill has 27. She plans to buy 5 new ones. Each DVD costs $9. After she buys the new ones, how many more DVDs can the shelf hold? So these kinds of questions you guys will come across, and they're going to give you information that is irrelevant to the question. What's the question? After she buys the new ones, how many more DVDs can the shelf hold? Okay? The shelf can hold 50. What does the cost of $9 each have to do with anything? Nothing. We don't care about the cost. That doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. That's like saying, okay, Mr. Glazier buys a cup of coffee every morning for $5. How many cups of coffee can Mr. Glazier drink in a day? Well, that depends on the size of my gut and how much money I have. So the fact that it's $5 each is relevant. All right. So anyways, just pointing out that's something that's obvious to most of you, that there is information in here that doesn't matter. And you'll get questions like that every once in a while. All right, 18, when finding the difference of two numbers mentally, can you use the commutative property? Explain. Well, what's the commutative property? Commutative property lets you add two decimals in any order. Well, yeah. Can you use the commutative property, finding the difference of two numbers? Yes, you certainly can. All right. Oh, well, okay, so I'm not sure, now that I look at that, I'm wondering, yeah, add, okay, add, this is important, okay. So the order matters in subtraction. Let me show you what I mean. I almost missed that. If I had, let's say $10 and I was adding $15, okay, what would that be? That would be $25, okay? And if I change the order, if I said $15 plus $10, what am I going to get? Well, amazing, 25. Now, what's difference? When we're talking about difference, we're talking about subtraction. So if I said $15, subtracting $10, what do I get? I get $5. What if I changed it? What if I had $10 subtracting $15? Do I get the same thing? No, I don't. We get into the negative numbers, which we're not going to worry about right now. But so difference does not work with commutative property, at least for now, for you guys. All right? So explain that. Just simply state that the difference or subtraction does not work using commutative property. So just put that in your own words, okay? All right. Oh my gosh, almost done here. What time is it? It's 7 already. Daria, is that who that is, I guess? Bought a skin of alpaca yarn. I've never seen it spelled like that. A skein. I don't use yarn. Maybe somebody that knits would know what that is. That's a new one for me. I learned something today. Anyways, for 47.50 cents, skin, I'm assuming that's how it's pronounced, of Angora yarn for 32.14, and a skein of wool yarn for 16.50, and a pair of knitting needles, 386. Oh my gosh, how did she spend it? How much did she spend it all? Describe how you calculated your answer. Okay. Well, they don't tell you to use mental math, but you can for some of this. Look, here's a 50. There's a 50. That makes it easy, doesn't it? I see a 47. And then I see a 3. That's kind of easy. All right. So you can, they don't say that you have to use mental math. You can do it either way. And it's describe how you calculated your answer. Although I'm sure they expect you to use mental math. All right, last one. We're done with this lesson here. Mrs. Heater's class took a field trip to a park 12.3 miles away. Mr. Dean's class drove 4.9 miles to the public library. How much farther did Healer's class travel than Mr. Dean's? Explain how you use mental math to determine the difference. All right. So I would do that. That's kind of hard to see, huh? All right. Well, I'm thinking 4.9 is really close to 5 miles. So I would, what do they call that when you add or subtract a little bit in? I think it's called compensation. I'm going back a page here. We talked about that earlier. Yeah. So you could do that to help you solve it. And that's it. I'll let you guys put your own answers for the bottom of page 48. And how much further, and explain what you did. Okay, that's it.